This video is brought to you by Brunt, the brand that is transforming workwear. You know, I was super excited when Brunt reached out to us for a couple of reasons. One, who can't use another set of boots? Two, if you're willing to reach out to someone like me, I like to consider myself pretty honest, that you must have a good product. They have a 30-day risk-free trial with free shipping and returns. Big thanks to Brunt for sending me these boots and supporting the channel. If you'd like to purchase a pair of these boots, use the link in the description and use this discount code to save $10 off a $60 purchase. All right, try this again. So today is October 14th. I've been trying to refrain from telling you guys what date it is. We got to get fuel. Last time, I think I talked to you guys about the truck. They called me up, said the truck was done. We went to go pick it up. The truck was in fact not done. So that was $2,500. They told me I had a NOx sensor bad. My lift pump fell apart, so they needed to replace the lift pump and they needed to replace the fuel filter housing that bolts to the block. Went to go pick it up. I didn't do a very good job on the windshield. Went to go pick it up. Truck was doing exactly what it was doing when we dropped it off. Went in the office. I ended up speaking to a woman named Karen that told me the truck was done. Went to the office. Karen wasn't there. I told him, yeah, so the truck won't start. And I guess the mechanic that had been working on it, he's like, well, yeah, we know that. I was like, well, I was told my truck was done. He's like, who told you that? I said, Karen. He's like, oh, she must have been mistaken. We replaced the things that we charged you for, but we needed to diagnose it even further. I was like, wow, well, that kind of sucks. Well, we had to go up there to get our passports anyways, right? So it kind of sucked that we weren't bringing the truck home, but we needed to go up there anyways. Fast forward to, all right, it's like, okay, so what's the next step? And the mechanic told me, he's like, look, this is what I think it is. This is what I think we need to do. Let's go forward with this. So basically, they wanted to do more fuel tests, and then pull the injectors and look at the injectors and look at the cups. I was like, okay, but we're going on a cruise for 9 days, so I need to know something before we leave, or else you guys aren't going to be able to get a hold of me, you know, for 9 days. He's like, yeah, we can have a tour apart, and we'll be able to let you know before you go. October 1st, the day that we left, we were actually in Miami, on the beach in Miami. Was it the 1st? Actually, we left the 1st. It was the day before the 1st.
Yeah.
So whatever that is, the 30th or the 31st or the 29th, whatever was in that month, whatever. It was the last day of that month before the 1st of October. Karen calls me again. She's like, all right, so they did in fact pull the injectors. You have 5 bad injectors and we need to replace all your cups. I'm like, wow, that's just what I wanted to hear right before going on a cruise. I was really hoping it was like a fuel pump and they could just swap the fuel pump out. We'd be good to go again. I was like, okay, so what's that gonna cost me? And she, you know, she did some work on the computer. She says it looks like it's gonna be about $6,600. I was like, all right, let's do it. And she said, I don't know, we got on the, like, talking about how, I'm like, man, this is really stressful, you know, that the truck broke down like right before we go on a cruise. She's like, oh, you have nothing to worry about. This will be done before you get back. You can get back on the road. I was like, okay, fantastic. Get off the cruise. We get home on the 9th. It is a Sunday. I have to wait till the next day, which is a Monday. I call up there and I'm like, yeah, hey, I'm calling to see if my truck is done. And it wasn't Karen, it was somebody else. And they're like, looks like we're waiting on authorization to start working on this thing. I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, we never got authorization to, looks like, replace your fuel injectors and your cups. I said, I gave Karen, before we left, I was standing on the beach in Miami. I gave Karen the authorization to go ahead and do it. Well, let me check into this. We'll get right back to you. Came back. They're like, oh, yeah, Karen said that she made a mistake and that you, in fact, did tell her that you authorized her to work on it. I'm like, great. So I've been gone for 9 days thinking my truck was getting worked on, and you guys didn't even start on my truck. Okay, whatever. Please fix my truck. Hang up the phone. Maybe a day or two later, they call me up and they're like, we can't find injectors for your truck. I'm like, you can't find injectors for my truck? And they tried to be like, well, yeah, so normally we buy it in a kit and it comes with everything that you need. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna see if we can find everything that we would normally do for that would come in the kit, and buy everything separately, and hopefully we can get you going. But it's probably gonna cost you more. And I'm like, oh great, here we go. Later that day they call me up, they're like, we can't find enough parts to make the kit. It's gonna be November before we can get you your injectors in. He's like, we did find these aftermarket injectors, but they're gonna cost $350 more. I said, is that $350 per injector, or is that a kit? He's like, oh, well, I don't know. I'm like, well, there's gonna be a big difference in price if it's an extra $350 for the kit, or if it's an extra $350 per injector. He couldn't give me a solid answer on it. I said, I tell you what, give me the part numbers you're looking for. I'm gonna do some research and see if I can find injectors myself. I said, what are you guys paying for injectors so I know if it's a good deal or not? And he says, well, for the kit, we normally get them for about $3,500 for the kit. I was like, okay, I'll let you know what I find. I'll call you back. I spent maybe 5 minutes researching on Google, and I found injectors for the truck for $2,500, which, oh, reminds me, they're gonna have to send them injectors back.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to call them after I get done talking. There's a $1,500 core. If we don't send the old injectors back, then they charge us $1,500. So remind me. So $2,500. I overnighted them, and then they went to work on my truck. Now they said it was going to be like, what'd they say, $1,600 in labor to replace the injectors, to pull the old injectors out and put the new ones in. So they send me a bill, and then it's got like, they tried to charge me for my own injectors. I said, I sent you the injectors, those aren't your injectors. And then they're trying to charge me for like retorquing of rocker arms and some other stuff. And I'm like, I don't understand why you're trying to charge me more on top of what the injectors were already gonna be, because didn't you have to take those out in order to get the injectors in anyways? And the woman in the office was a complete joke. She didn't know what was going on. She's trying to talk to the mechanics to try to find out why they're trying to charge me. Like, okay, if I tell you it's gonna be $1,600 to do something on your car, I don't get to then come back and be like, okay, now I'm gonna charge you $20 for paper towels. I got $15 for Loctite. I've got $600 to retorque the bolts down. It's like, no, that's all a part of the injector job that you guys told me. So they ended up knocking a bunch of money back off. What did it end up costing us? What did we just pay them?
$29.17.
So $2,917 Plus, I found the injectors myself for $2,500. So we're looking at $5,500. So I ended up saving about $1,100 buying the injectors and the kit by myself. And I think that really ticked them off, because, which, I mean, they said they couldn't find the injectors anyways. So I ended up having to find the injectors myself. So then they couldn't mark up the price like they normally do. So anyways, it is now 4:15 on, what did I say, the 14th? Supposedly my truck's done. We end up paying them over the phone. They close at 6 o'clock. We won't make it there by 6. So they told me if I paid it, they'd leave my truck out. Did you grab your keys?
Yeah.
And then we can just pick up the truck and it'll be outside the gate and we should be good to go. And then we got to go pick up the truck. I got to go get my trailer from storage because we had to pay a month of storage. That was $250 for the month to store my trailer. And then we should have our truck, hopefully. So anyways, I'll give you guys an update when we get there. Hopefully the truck runs good, whatever. I'll show you guys a list of what it cost us over here, or over here, or over in this area right here. Where are we putting the boxes at?
I don't know. You're going to have to do that, I guess.
Anyways, yeah, rates suck anyways. I wasn't too worried about sitting at home, but I was worried that the longer they had my truck, the more they were going to try to charge me, and I was going to have to pay it for another month of storage. Our storage was going to run out on the 19th, so I thought it was the 16th, ended up being the 19th. So anyways, all right, we'll see you guys. All right, we have made it. Let's see how this thing does. What's that chain around the back of my bumper? Look.
What is that about?
I don't know. Alarm's been set off. Weird. What's this chain around this back bumper for? Is that one of our chains?
It doesn't look like it.
Oh, great. Let me see if this thing will air up. Wonder why that alarm just went off. That's kind of crazy. All right, let's see here. See if this bad boy cranks up this time. Boom! That's probably the fastest it has ever crunked. Crunked it up. Sweet. We'll let this bad boy air up, and we'll see you guys in a bit. And we're back. So one of the things that I had them do is adjust my clutch, and somebody has completely screwed it up, because now my truck will barely go without even pulling a trailer. What an absolute shit show this has been. What an absolute shit show. And when we noticed, when we came to pick up the truck, we now have a mud flap missing. So they've ripped one of the mud flaps off of the truck. Record? Oh, now we're recording. Well, good morning. It is now the next day, and we don't have our truck. So basically where I left you guys off is we went and picked up the truck, drove not even a mile. We didn't even make it to the red light down the road, and I noticed the clutch was slipping. Now granted, supposedly they took the truck on all these test drives and everything was good. We drove all the way up to Macon from Valdosta for the second time now, and the clutch was slipping. So the guy told me, which I'd been talking to, I guess, the lead mechanic this whole time, so I had his cell phone number, and he said because the truck sat so long, they had to jump the truck off once. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of, it's whatever. I'm sure I have a parasitic drain from somewhere, whatever. He's like, but if you get there and the truck won't start, what's up, Willows? If the truck won't start, call me up, I'll come jump it off. I'm like, all right, sounds good. And then I got to thinking, I've got jumper cables in the Ford anyways. I don't need that anyways. Well, when the clutch started slipping, I gave him a call. I'm like, hey man, I don't know what's happened here, but my clutch is so bad I can't even drive this thing. He's like, oh. He's like, well, maybe you can take it to Love's and have the clutch adjusted. I'm like, I paid you guys to adjust the clutch. He's like, all right, I'll meet you up there in about an hour. So we turned around, we went up there and waited, and he tried to adjust it right there in the parking lot. We took it on a test drive, and it was a little bit better. It was still slipping. So he's like, all right, let's pull it into the shop. Willow, you're going to get in trouble. Willow, come on, babies. All right, anyways, my neighbor came by, his dog got out. Anyways, yeah, so let's see. He tried adjusting the clutch outside of the gate. Couldn't get it working. It did improve it. Then we pulled it back into one of the shop bays, and same thing. So he's trying to say I need a new clutch, but he went under there and he took a picture of the clutch, and there's like a wear bar that shows you how much clutch life is left, and it's still on max. So I'm thinking they don't know what they're doing up there, to be honest, which is pretty obvious at this point when I've drove up there twice, and it's like they just throw parts at stuff. And that's all mechanic shops. You know, the only reason I took it to them is because they were the closest where we broke down. I wanted to take it to the guy in Valdosta that's treated us really good and does really good work at J&M Diesel, but he said he was over a month out. I called this place. This place is actually a Mac place. They said that they could get my truck going pretty quick. It's been over a month now. So he was the shop foreman. I mean, he's a super nice guy. I think he means well, but I don't think he knows what he's doing. And he said he could see in the computer that, because who logged hours on my truck. He wanted to know who adjusted my clutch. He could see that a new guy had logged hours on it, and an older guy that had been there for a while had logged hours on it. He said, so it looked like they used my truck to train this new guy on how to adjust the clutch. So we're gonna wait till Monday now. It's like, I can't get my truck home and get the new decals and everything. I don't know if I told you guys, I got new decals made for the truck. I don't know if I told you about the whole Fiverr incident where I hired somebody from Fiverr. They did a really shitty job. I ended up getting my money back from him, and I hired somebody else from Fiverr, and he did actually a pretty good job. Anyways, am I in the way? Do you need me to move the truck?
You're good right now.
No?
Just whenever you're done.
Oh, so that's where we're at now. We're gonna wait till Monday. He's gonna talk to another one of his shop guys, see if they can figure out what's wrong with the clutch, but he's already pushing a new clutch on me. I'm like, no, dude, no, I've already spent 10 grand with you guys. My clutch was fine when I went up there. The only problem I had was, like, after the truck would warm up, the clutch brake wouldn't work that great. And that's what I told him. I just need the clutch brake adjusted. And I get it back, and now it's completely shot. So he was like, well, maybe the new injectors is giving it more power. No, bro. No, I pull 80,000 pounds with this thing all the time. It's not going to slip the clutch bobtail because new injectors. So I know that's the deal. It's been over a month now. We're at home again. It's like I can't win. I always tell Lita, like, it's not like the breaking down part or the cost of the parts that cost the most. It's dealing with the idiots at these places that have no idea what they're doing. Like, they're parts changers. Like, if they could actually just go in and tell you what's wrong with it and then fix the problem and fix it in a decent amount of time, breakdowns wouldn't be that bad. But when they go in and they're like, well, we think it's this, and they start just throwing parts at it, which is what we've been running into, that's where the nightmare and the costs really start piling up. And then you got the downtime. I'm still glad I didn't buy a new truck. Freight's terrible. Fuel prices are high. I just have to... I wish my mechanic here in Valdosta could have got me in, but he was backed up. All right. Anyways, let me get back inside and start editing some more videos. We'll see you guys later. All right. So it is now the next day. Basically, they came back and said that they cannot get the clutch adjusted. The clutch is in fact bad, and they can't tell me why it's bad, even though the wear bar indicator shows that there's still plenty of life left in the clutch. And they came back with a quote of $5,500. Now, granted, I'll put that up on the screen. Granted, that is for some parts that they say are going bad, like a clutch cable. And the I have an air assist clutch, and they're saying that's leaking a little bit of air. So I was like, no, you know, that's kind of ridiculous. So they took all the air assist off, and then it was $3,300. And then I was like, I'm still not paying you $3,300 to put in a clutch. So then he was like, well, let me go talk to my manager. Came back, well, we got it down to $2,400 for you. I never did answer him. He's been calling me, but Lita's getting ready right now. We are going to go pick up the truck. I've already called J&M Diesel here in Valdosta, the only one that's been good to us. And I explained to him what's going on. He said, bring it by. I'll try to adjust the clutch. And if it needs a clutch, then it'll be slightly over $2,000. So I would rather pay somebody that's taking care of me and than I would give it to Nextran, because I sincerely believe that Nextran has their employees trained to try to rip people off. I found them. They were in my pocket. I'm an idiot. Yeah, so it is, it's Tuesday. I'm gonna try to limp the truck home. We're not gonna pick up the trailer so that it doesn't put any more stress on the clutch. So that means I have to pay for storage on the trailer again. We'll limp the truck home, and then we'll take it to J&M, and I'm hoping that they can get it adjusted. I'm hoping the other shop didn't screw it up. But like I said, if they can't, if I end up cooking it on the way home or whatever, I'll just pay them to put in the clutch. Now, I will say this. Both shops are like, I guess I have a solo clutch in the truck, which is a self-adjusting, an automatic adjusting clutch. And they say that's only good for like company drivers, so that they don't have to stop and get their clutch adjusted. And both have basically bashed that clutch. So they've both basically told me too that, because I told them, they both know that, you know, I've had to have my clutch brake done a few times now, and they're basically blaming that clutch. So I will say Nextran 2 is saying that because I don't use the clutch to shift is why my clutch isn't working. They're like, you have to use that clutch in order to keep it in adjustment. And I told him, I'm like, My clutch was working fine when I brought it in, and now it's slipping. So you guys have obviously done something. We got our new Starlink in. I thought the new Starlink was going to be messed up too. It was stuck on saying that it needed a download and that it was searching. Contacted Starlink. Starlink's like, just leave it plugged in for like 48 hours. And I'm like, that's absolutely crazy. Well, I left it plugged in overnight, and I guess it did end up downloading. So right now I have 2 different Starlinks up on my chimney. I don't know if you'll be able to see it from here. Maybe we can walk around back. I was really hoping my old dish was still gonna work, because we've already drilled a hole in that and unplugged the motor for self-adjusting. They didn't mention that I had to send the old ones back, so hopefully I don't have to send the old one back. But if I do, I still have the plastic piece that I used, that I cut out with the hole saw. Climb up on my roof here. And I'm just gonna stick it back in and JB weld it. Yeah, so this is the best spot I could find for my dishes. That's the new one. So now I'm gonna have to take the old one out of that special mount that we bought to go on top of to go on the semi. And I'm gonna have to drill a hole in that one. So, yeah, crazy. All right, I don't know if you can hear me because it's kind of windy, but we are here to pick up the truck now. It's kind of parked up front here. The plan is, looks like they got a dump truck parked in front of me. So this might not go as planned. I should be able to get out of here. I'm gonna take the truck. We're going to drive it. We're going to see if it's okay to drive. If it is, I'm gonna give Lita a call. She's gonna go in and get our other key. And if it's good enough, we might go ahead and try to grab the trailer so that we don't have to mess with that. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see if it can be driven. We're going to leave with it. So we'll get this bad boy crunk up, aired up. Guess I need to plug in my E-log here. It starts so fast now, it's incredible. It starts so fast. All right, so we'll get this thing aired up. We're gonna drive down the road, make sure that we can make it home. I mean, honestly, because if it's bad enough, if it's as bad as it was the first time I came to get it, I might have to pay these guys to put in the clutch. I'm hoping it's like this after they adjusted it the first time, so. Yeah, we'll see you guys in a bit. Hello.
Okay.
Figured I'd just keep you on the phone while I try to drive down the road here.
Okay.
Instead of me fumbling for my phone.
Yeah, because you don't have your headset.
Yeah, I forgot my headset.
Yeah.
Alright guys, this is Terry's Truck Parking in Macon, Georgia. As you can see, it's a really nice place with a lock gate. She's got some really reasonable rates, especially right now because it's brand new. So the sooner you come in here and grab a spot, obviously the cheaper it'll be once it starts filling up. And obviously the longer you get it for, the cheaper it is. I actually forgot my keys to the trailer, so I'm hoping my brother hid my other key somewhere on the trailer, and we can get all these locks off and be on our way. All right, we're hooked up. We just got to hook up some airlines, raise our landing gear, do our quick walk around. What's up, pretty lady?
What's up?
We're getting our truck and trailer.
Yeah.
Whee!
Does it feel?
I babied it. Going up the hill after we left the shop and then going, we go down the hill and going up. I felt it slip a little bit going up that hill. So I'm just gonna baby it. All right, we're hooked up. Here's to hoping we can get home, drop this trailer and take this truck in. The clutch brake is working good, so I guess there's that. It's like I don't know. Honestly, I don't know how these, I tried to watch a video on YouTube once on how to adjust the clutch. And I know a lot of you guys have said it's easy, and I should be able to do it. Honestly, I'm nervous about something like this. Messing up something like this. It's only like $150 to... My iPhone died. Oh no, it didn't die. The memory's full. Anyways, talking about adjusting the clutch myself. I don't know, to me $150 is worth letting somebody else deal with it, and I'll deal with it later, and it makes them liable. Of course, I say it makes them liable, but now I've got the case of these idiots over here saying that it's the clutch. So we're gonna take to somebody that I trust. If in fact he does say that it's bad, then I don't know if they messed it up or if in fact something is actually messed up with it. So anyways, we're gonna shoot down 75, get to Valdosta. If I have time, I'll drop this truck off today, but if not, we're going to drop it tomorrow morning. So I don't know, wish us luck. We'll see you there. All right, so we've made it to the just right outside Macon now. So it definitely doesn't like taking off on obviously steeper hills. Like we had to get off at an exit, and then there's a light, so you're sitting on the hill. It doesn't like that. We just went up a little bit of a slope from where the 465 merges into the 70. Is it the 465? 475. Sorry, 475 merges with the 4 or with the 75, and it didn't like that big long incline. So basically, what I'm trying to do, obviously, is have enough speed built up to where if it does start slipping going up the hill, I can let off, and then I'll still kind of coast up the hill, trying to get over. None of these idiots will let you over. So knock on wood, hopefully we make it. I'm really trying to baby this thing. I really don't want to have to pay for a tow truck. That would definitely be a big kick to the nuts if I go and pick up my truck and I'm like, screw you guys, and then I end up having to call a tow truck. That would be a pretty big expense. I already thought about it. Like, I might grab some chains, hook it up to the Ford, possibly drop the trailer wherever it is. Oh, there goes Lita. Hook it up to the Ford, and then hopefully maybe pull it to a shop. I don't know. I wouldn't worry about the Ford pulling like the tractor by itself, but I don't know about pulling the tractor and the trailer with a Ford. I'm sure it would do it. I just don't want to beat up on my truck like that. There's a Mack right there getting towed. Broke down on the side. Yeah, so we're just kind of putting along. I'm doing 60 mile an hour right now. I was doing like 65, 70. And then we got into the merge traffic and it's kind of a shithole through here. So I don't know, fingers crossed. We still have, says 2 more hours to go, and we'll see what happens. All right, so we have made it home. We made it. Woo! Dropped the trailer in the road. And because I can't drop this thing at the shop until tomorrow, I'm gonna go ahead and strip all the old stickers up here and prep it for the new decals. I think you guys are really gonna like this.